Welcome to WFUZ-TV. I'm Blair Castro, and I'm here with Thomas Jenkins. And today we have my friend Kari Scott in the studio with us.
Hi.
Kari, tell us a little bit about what you do and how other people can learn about it and get involved.
Yeah, so I'm Kari Scott. I'm an author, a meditation guide. I host wellness retreats. I kind of got into this because I didn't have a community of people. And so I really wanted to kind of create something that was missing in my own life. And so I started just writing about self-love, connecting with people on TikTok, and everything's sort of progressed really naturally.
So I've been following you for a while, and I love how authentic you can be, and I like how you're willing to share kind of whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's what attracts people on TikTok in particular. They like authenticity, and they like people who are real. We talk about this a lot. You mentioned trying to find a community. What are some of the, problems you faced when it come to our community here? Like, what gaps did you see that you thought, okay, I need to be a filler for this?
Yeah. I think being authentically yourself can be a bit scary, and I think you're absolutely right. Because I can be a little bit honest in my own healing, I think it opens a door for people to be more honest in theirs. On that same note, I think I can really be a mirror, and people who aren't ready to deal with some of their internal struggles, and they're not ready to be so honest, I think I can be a little bit off-putting to those people, only because what they're dealing with, not me, but that's kind of been a challenge. We're in the Bible Belt, of course, so spirituality is sort of a hot topic for some, and it can be challenging, I guess, to be authentically you.
Going to the topic of spirituality, that's something that we kind of talk about frequently, is that there seems to be, and this is just topical, I guess, because of the time today, but a lot of darkness in the world, especially right now. And it's very hard to determine like where the light is. And you posted something the other day, I think it was, what did you say? Like, where do I go to like unplug from the system or something?
Yeah.
So how can people sort of do that? Because I think a lot of us feel the darkness and the heaviness of everything happening in the world, and it's hard to sort of stay grounded. So what would you recommend for people in terms of getting connected to being in yourself and not like distracted by all of the bad stuff?
Meditate, go inward. Really, we're living in times where there's distrust everywhere. And so really to be able to just sit silently with yourself, listen to what your body is telling you, and really get outside, get in the grass, get in the sunshine, connecting mind, body, and spirit, dance, just moving your body and really becoming aware of what's going on inside of you, makes you much more aware to what is going on outside of you. And, for me, meditation is the way. So I host these events for people to kind of learn and connect and have community, because that's another layer of it. Accountability to yourself and others. We can get out of this darkness, but it takes all of us to be, honest with ourselves and others.
You have to sort of be conscious of it too, because you were talking about like listen to your body and stuff. I'm somebody who works like nonstop as well, and I constantly have to check myself, or he has to check me and be like, okay, take a rest day, like get out of there and force your body to stop, because if not, you will like absolutely crash
out.
I do it like all the time. Unfortunately, I'll go like half a month and then crash and then go again. So if you do it daily, like take those breaks and meditate and like have allotted rest time, in whatever that is to you. I think if it's meditating, if it's praying, if it's like going yoga or something, there's a lot you can do to sort of, I don't know, get in yourself and not like the distractions. I think it's really unhealthy to be too distracted, and I am at fault for that.
Yeah, we are very much a fast-paced, instant gratification. We want it now. We want results now. And meditation is one of those things, you've got to stick with it. You're not going to see result, which is why I also suggest affirmations, speaking positive words over yourself every single day. Everything is always working out for me. I trust the timing of my life. When you really believe that in your soul, you start to see things differently, and truth is less scary, and conquering, these things. We all have a little bit of darkness in us, but being honest about that is what creates more light. So
do you make a specific time of day? Like, do you have an exact time of day that you have meditation, or do you let it be random?
Yeah, so I have a pretty rigid, I guess you could say, routine. I wake up, I listen to affirmations before I even get out of bed. Before I get on my phone, I meditate. I try to make it a point daily to get outside under the moon and just remember that I am a very small part of a very large, universe. And when I take care of me, I take care of you. When I treat myself well, I treat you well. And when I love myself, I really do love others. And I stay really out of the political stuff that goes on around me. And I think it's because, I'm kind of in a higher vibration right now. I don't know.
I don't stay out of the political stuff.
I know. Which I find it funny to be here. But I think we all need to really start to mix these worlds and get to know each other, because I know that you are doing really good things for the community as far as, the politics go and transparency. And so that's all it is truth and transparency.
Absolutely. Interesting. You said you get out under the moon. So I've always heard getting out under the sun, but I never really thought about the moon. So what are the benefits of that?
I think it's just getting back to connection, knowing that you are a part of the cosmos, and, really your ego. It gets a lot smaller when you really make the time to acknowledge that there is a really big world and a really big sky. And, we have big impacts in our homes, and it all connects. So that's just a reminder for me, connection.
I think traveling kind of helps with that too. Sometimes, like, reminding yourself that there's a bigger world out there and a bigger purpose, because we get so bogged down in our hometown of where we live, or where we're living right now. And we see this little insular community, but then when you go somewhere else, you're like, oh, this is, it's kind of replicated everywhere, and you're not alone. There's different systems out there, and they're all sort of similar.
Right.
So I've always found benefit in traveling because of that. It's like a reminder that there's more to the world than what's going on in your small area. And in terms of nature, I unfortunately haven't done it in a year or so, but I used to be really into hiking and stuff. And one of the best things about that was getting out where there's no light pollution and where there's no sound pollution. And we were just on vacation. That was so nice to not hear the cars driving by, and to not hear those outside man-made noises, I think. Yeah,
and you can create that in your mind with meditation. I can really go anywhere and kind of just close my eyes and do a little box breathing and just really escape the matrix, as I like to say, and just kind of get back to self and spirit. And it's, a good thing to be able to do. The world is, it demands so much of us. So to be able to have a place to go inward and feel safe, even if it's just for a few minutes, that's really, really valuable in today's world. And that's what I try to create at these retreats too. It's just safe spaces. I don't have any answers for you or for anyone. You have the answers, but I like to create the space to make you feel, comfortable enough to ask yourself the questions.
It's hard to lay still here. There's too many neighboring dogs that bark.
Yeah, and cars and horns and barges, and it's a lot going on where you're physically at.
Yeah, and if you find yourself irritated with those sounds, or you find yourself, really having trouble focusing and concentrating, that's your body, your mind's eye saying, it's time for you to take some time to decompress and to learn how to relax. Yeah. So
I didn't get to go to the whole retreat, but I went to a beginning of one of your retreats. And I just want to talk about what I experienced from the beginning there to give people sort of an idea. Then you can talk about what's coming up. So the one I went and took pictures for her, little video clips, was so nice. I was so impressed. We walked in and it was this beautiful, condo room, big room with different bedrooms and adjoining, and people from all over the place had come, purchased their stay, which was, I think, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a kind of a lengthy stay, and you got to do all kinds of things. You got to do Reiki. You got to eat like really healthy, amazing food. Like they had a salad out there that was like amazing, and it was just beautiful. It was a lot of activities, but it was all optional, so you weren't like overwhelmed with stuff. And the second the people started arriving, the energy of everyone was so positive and excited to be there. Even though they were strangers, they were all there for like the same purpose of, needing this for themselves and finally taking some time for themselves. And it was really cool to see that. I'm sure it even got better as the weekend progressed.
Yeah. So one of the affirmations I say is, I feel good and good things flow to me. So when you come to one of my events, I want you to feel good. The second you get there, I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel, beautiful. I want you to feel energetically charged. I want you to feel excited. And so, the atmosphere we create, as Blair was describing, is really important to me. This next one coming up, it's a little bit more stripped down. We'll be at a beautiful venue in Alberta, Legacy Oaks venue, and it sits on almost 10 acres. And the idea with this one is really going to be grounding, getting that connection with the earth. I think more now than ever, we sort of need it because, again, truth is distorted. And so when you go inward, you have a real opportunity to figure out what truth is for you. And so that's kind of what I look to create at this weekend we're having. It'll be a slumber party style. So we're sleeping indoors in this big, beautiful barn. And then, we'll dance. We'll have bonfires. I'm designing some exercises really just to get you to dig deep.
What kind of other, so for people that can't go overnight, do you have like daily ones or like short sessions?
Yeah. So no, not on this one. And the reason is the group gets so close. I mean, they really do. And again, it's about creating this safe environment for you to open up. Many attendees have never been to something like this. So to have all those energies in and out is not really, feasible for this kind of event. Now, I do have smaller scale sound bath meditations, and I do work one-on-one with clients at their own pace. So that's something else I offer too.
How much time does it take you to plan the larger retreats, and how many do you get to do?
Yeah, so this year I have 3 scheduled. We've got the March 6th through the 8th, September 18th through the 20th, and then I've got November 11th through the 14th. A couple months. Yeah, a couple months of planning and preparation. I usually will begin to go live on TikTok, find, the right people to connect with to attend the event. And really, I like to try to get the community involved. Last retreat I hosted, I worked with, some pretty cool people in town. This time I've got Jam Thai Juices, which is a local juice company, on board. Of course, Legacy Oaks being the venue spot, and just really being able to source like fresh produce and, foods from here and collaborate with others. It's really an honor, honestly.
What was your turning point or inspiration for putting on these larger events?
Yeah, so everything has really evolved very naturally. There was never a point in my life where I was like, I want to be an author and I want to be hosting these wellness events. And I think, it's for some confusing because I do heal out loud and I do still have, these side quests and dramas of life like we all do. And I'm not trying to pretend like I'm on a pedestal because I host the event, It was really just someone on TikTok said, I want to come to one of your events. You should host them longer. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So just really, like I said, answering calls and saying yes to what feels good instead of no. That's something we talk about on my live show, and really just saying yes because it felt good. And so continuing to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think when people leave a retreat or an event, what do you hope that they walk away with? What is their main takeaway in your wish there?
Gosh, I hope that they understand that they are source energy. I hope that they understand that they are divine. I hope that they understand that, all of this external stuff does not matter. And, inner peace is really the solution for all of us. That's what I hope. World peace.
We need it.
Yeah. And right now, you know, talking about light and dark, you know, this is frequency. This is raising your own vibration. And when you raise your own vibration, you raise the vibration of everything around you. So I've lived both ways. You know, I've lived in the darkness of addiction, and I've lived in, you know, that really bad place of self-loathing, and nobody wanted to be near me. So, you know, today I feel very fortunate to live in light and to be the light and to be connected with light. So.
Well, we definitely need more light. We need more like you out there. So I appreciate what you're doing, sharing this with the world and with our community, because especially here, like,
it's scary.
We talk about this sometimes too. It's so like cutthroat here a lot of times, and people are all trying to make something. They all have their own interests in mind, and it's hard to find people who want to bring out good in other people instead of just like squish people down and like take it for themselves. So I think we need more people like you who are willing to help others be the best they can be, and in turn you're becoming the best you can be. And like, why can't we all work together and like help each other? I don't understand why the competition is so stiff.
I think it goes back to self-love and ego, you know, because when you have real love for self, you're not really in competition with anyone else. You're only trying to be better than you were the day before. And, you know, when you have genuine self-love, you really do want other people to win. And you understand that, you know, Blair is not my competition. She is my sister. You know, I want to lift her. And so really aligning with those people and really using your own discernment, right? You know what's good and what's bad. And so just walking with that and then being a friend. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about where people can read your books? You mentioned you were an author. I actually have one in the room there. I got one. So where can people find them and what are they about and how much are they?
So Amazon.com/author/Kari Scott does a lot. My first book, Love Yourself, Not a Loser. It's an ebook. It's just like a super quick read. It's kind of designed to just make you remember who you are really quickly. You could almost read that every morning. The Self-Love Shift is the name of my retreats as well. And that's more of a workbook designed for you to just start to cultivate kinder inner dialogue, because, you know, if you're not nice to yourself, who will be? And then Beginning to Become is my book of affirmations in action, and really just, I feel good things flow to me. I radiate love, peace, powerful energy. You know, some of us didn't grow up in homes that radiated those things. So when we get to adulthood, you know, we have to train ourselves, and we can become whatever it is that we want to become. You know, I became an author because I decided to do that work. And so, you know, you can really make any change that you wish to make. You are only stopping you. So.
Can you give us an example of a time where you did affirmations just out of habit and then like it actually came to be?
Yeah, so everything is always working out for me. I sobered up. I found myself in a really violent situation. I said that affirmation as I walked through that situation and genuinely believed that everything would work out for me. And I think, you know, keeping that mindset will get you through anything. And, you know, sometimes we have to walk through some darkness to be able to relate and share and help others. So really just keeping yourself attuned. Also, money is a good example for me. You know, I have not worked a regular job since December 2024. I know that money is a frequency, so it finds me when I need it to find me. And, you know, it does, because I say things like, money is my friend, money is drawn to me. And it just does. The books, you know, streams of income, you start to train your mind and set things in place, and then it just works out. So.
Manifesting is so real. The same thing with the money, that really resonated, because I'll be like flat broke and I'm worried about things. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a call from a client, because I'm like you, like self-employed. Yeah. I don't like have the consistent same thing every month. And there'll be times where it's scary, but then I'll sit there and I'll say, you know what? I've never, you know, it's never not worked out for me. It'll work out again. Right. And then it just like something will happen and I'll get a gig or a job or something to come up, and it does always work out. And
gratitude. As soon as it works out, it's like gratitude. Thank you. Yeah. You know, for me, it's spirit or source, you know, but thank you, God. Just whatever your whatever that looks like for you. Really, it's energy. So it doesn't really matter the words, it matters the feeling and the energy around it. Fear is not your friend. And, you know, a lot of people, especially in the political world, it's all fear. Fear and love are the greatest emotions to invoke. And love is the most difficult to invoke. And fear is the easiest. So remember that when you're emotionally charged up about something, especially on social media.
According to the Jedi way, love is fear. They're one and connected.
I'll have to study and meditate on that.
Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate. Is that the...
Yes.
Well, and there's truth in that, you know. They say like the abused becomes the abuser. And I do believe that you have to kind of go full circle to understand all of it.
Absolutely.
That's where the meditation kicks in, right?
Right, right. And love really does win. As corny and cheesy as that is, it really does win. Love for self, again, it turns into love for others, and love your neighbor means
That's
something
the
different.
cornerstone of all the Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
Even if you live in a terrible HOA, try your best to love your neighbor.
Even then?
Especially then. Yeah, that's something too. It's like on the days where it's really hard and you don't want to keep positive and you don't want to meditate and you don't want to go touch grass, those are the days you really should. Yeah.
Well, tell everybody where they can follow you at.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Kari Scott, Kari, Kari Scott Meditations, also on Facebook, and then Kari Scott Meditates on TikTok. Again, I'm on Amazon. I've got my link tree. I'll give it to you. You can put it in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for coming here with us today. Everybody check out Kari Scott. Look at her retreats that are coming up. They are awesome, and hopefully you can join.
Yeah, March 6th to the 8th. See you then.